And we are back for another episode of FIFA 16 PSG Career Mode Season 2, Episode 16. What a wicked journey it has been so far. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us crack-a-lackin'. Or let's get crack-a-lackin'. I need to come up with some new lines because I'm feeling a little bit tongue-twisted these days. In the previous episode, I kind of can't remember what happened. I think, that's right, those bumheads. FC Bayern defeated us 1-0 in the Champions Cup. I do believe we had a match previously against FC Bayern, so we were eliminated from the Champions Cup. So not only were eliminated from the Coupe Nationale, not only were eliminated from the Champions Cup, and not only we are eliminated from the pre-season trophy, you know what? I will just discuss with you guys all the trophies that we won throughout the entire season at the end of the season. So without further ado, let's just get moving and get underway. I know our next game is against Saint Etienne, and from memory, I do remember saying that I was going to play my second squad, I believe. Looking at the second squad, Mbolo is injured. So we want to find out the damage just to remind ourselves. So let's have a look. Breel Donald Mbolo is in the recovery status from a broken tibia, and he will be out for 4 months. So I think he is out for the rest of the season, which is very sad news. Guys, I'm going to go back to my half an hour per episode. I kind of like it that way. I mean, I did have a very long episode on part 15. Simply because I had my fellow subscribers come on where I hadn't seen them in a while, and I kind of wanted to give them a treat. Now that the January transfer windows are completely out of the way, and we've gone through February, and we're talking about everything that's been happening in the season so far, I think, without further ado, we should try and aim to end Season 2 today, right now. So, with Saint Etienne here, we are going to check on the tables where they stand. They are 13th, so by right, I think my second squad can take them on. It is the time of the year where we can't afford to lose any matches. We are 1 point behind from LOSC Lille, as you can see. We have still yet to play our 30th game, so does Lille. So hopefully Lille loses their game, or at least draws. With us hopefully getting the win, and then we can hit back on top and try to defend that number 1 spot, becoming the Liga champions once again. So let's have a look at our second squad, because we do have some unavailable players. Mbolo is injured and he is out for the rest of the season. So we need to make a big decision and decide whether or not we should bring someone from the first squad into the second squad, like Ibrahimovic, considering that he shouldn't be in the squad anymore. He's 35 years old, 87 overall, still an astronomical player. So, he could be down there in the second squad and help support them, but that just means less game time for a legend such as Ibrahimovic. He's considering retirement. If he decides to stay on for another season, I will definitely sell him on in Season 3 of the summer transfer window, and I'm sure there will be plenty of clubs around the world who would be more than happy to buy the beast, Ibrahimovic. So I think that's out of the question. I don't want Ibrahimovic to play in the second squad. He deserves to stay in the first squad throughout the remainder of the season. Benzema is also a first-team player of mine, so he shouldn't be playing there. We do have the likes of Dempsey, or Dempsey, please do forgive me, I do struggle with pronouncing players' names, or Jonas. Jonas is eligible to play for the first team, but he hasn't hardly played any games this season since he was the kind of player I brought into the club to simply make a profit off of him. With 83 overall, and 32 years of age, he could just be, Mbolo's replacement. Or do I give Clint a chance to play? 79 overall, 34 years old. I might give him a shot. I think that's a good idea. Let's give him a shot. We bought him from the United States. Can't remember what team we bought him from. But if you do want to have a look back at the journey from the beginning with PSG, you're more than welcome to. I do have the link on my YouTube channel. Just type in Millsysaurus. You should be able to find me. You've got my charming looking face smiling as my picture. And click on the link in the discussion tab. And you should get the whole playlist of the PSG's journey so far. I have yet to edit and add on the rest of Season 2. I will make sure to do that before I kick off with Season 3. But that's talking a little bit ahead of ourselves, so let's continue with the gameplay. I do too much talking, in my opinion. So on the bench, we've got Benzema, Lavezzi, Lucas, Coutinho, Pogba, Silva, and De Gea. I think that squad is looking good. Our captain is Aga. Rightfully deserves it. And then you see our kick takers right there. It's all automatic. I don't go out of my way to specifically decide who takes the left short free kick, the long free kick, the right corner. No, I don't bother doing that. It's a bit too long for me. I'm not a very patient man. And like I said before, millions of times, I am not taking this seriously. I am not a full-time YouTuber. I'm simply doing this for my own personal enjoyment. But I have recently made a huge announcement. I am going to go public with my next career mode in Manchester United. Simply going to default the squads, start from the beginning, and I'm going to make every video public. So whenever you want to try and look for my Manchester United career mode, you can find it a lot easier rather than me sending you the link personally. Of course, that means I'm not going to use my camera anymore for obvious reasons. You will still hear my voice, so it won't just be me in gameplay. I will be talking through it with you guys. I'm not going to be doing instructions or tactics. I leave everything on default, and I think that does look good. And hopefully Dempsey can prove to me that I should have placed him in the second squad against the likes of Saint Etienne. I'm not completely nervous about this squad. They are a decent squad, but, you know, being 13th in this season, you can't help but say to yourself, right, this should be a cakewalk. Not as much of a cakewalk as it would be against a team that is right at the bottom of the league table, but anything can happen, especially through simulation. So let's see what happens. Players are warming up, and we're going to do what we normally do and skip the simulation process. And unfortunately, it is a draw. 1-1. Our goal scorer was Schneider. Very decent player. Does deserve to be in the first squad. But I think it's going to become a point where I might sell him on. I don't know whether I discussed that in my previous episode when I went through the squad report. It's hard to say with Schneider. He is a very good player. Though he scores goals, though he creates chances, you know, in my imagination, of course, or in theory, because I don't know what happens out there on the field. You know, I simply have the basic facts on the right-hand side. For example, Schneider and Dempsey get a yellow card each. Stambouli gets sent off immediately with a red card. So obviously his discipline is just as bad as Silva's if he keeps getting himself some red cards. Obviously Silva, from memory, has got about 4 red cards this season. So I had to punish him by taking away his captaincy and giving it to Ibrahimovic in the first squad. Aga gets subbed off along with Ongenda for Lavezzi and Silva. And unfortunately, I see the plaster sign next to Ongenda, so he may have got a minor injury. Hopefully, there's no serious damage. But now let's move on. So we only get the 1 point. Hopefully, Lille lost their game. I believe they did. It looks like we caught up with them. Lille, I think, has lost their previous game. I'm just going to confirm that. Fixtures. So, where are you? Lille? No, they won their game. I guess they won their game. Or am I... Do I need to go further down? 12th. What happened on the 12th for Lille? Yeah, they did lose their game against Montpellier. See, Montpellier, they're a cunning team. They're one of them teams that doesn't do amazing in the season, but they always manage to get a couple of cheap shots on these stronger clubs. Beating them out of nowhere. If you know what I mean, Montpellier is definitely one of them sorts of clubs that beat the better teams, but seem to do average throughout the season. In their defence, they are 6th, so I suppose they're not bad at all. One place away from being in the top 5. Got to give it to them. Do have a couple of emails. Ongender has suffered a broken collarbone, guys. A broken collarbone, and he's going to be out for 8 weeks, so that is definitely not good news at all. I'm very upset about that. Ongender is one of my favourite left-wingers. He does have a really bright future at PSG. So, speedy recovery on Ongender. And Stambouli has been suspended due to his actions in the previous match. So he has a 1-match ban. Please ignore the sound effects in the background. I am on Facebook at the moment, so I will be getting messages here and there. I do have my own life, my own social life, as well as, I don't dedicate myself to broadcasting gameplay all the time. Definitely. So, carrying on. We are, for the rest of the month, we've got one more game, and we've got a big game against Toulouse. Last I checked, I believe they weren't too far down the table, but I could be wrong. Let's have a look. There you go. Toulouse are 8th, so I do want to play my first squad just to try and secure a victory. It's not looking good. Injuries are happening left, right, and centre. We are going to move on. And we do have an email, so I'm going to stop right there. As a result of your performances, we've granted you some additional funds. Champions Cup, so $5,400,000 is going to be placed into our piggy bank. That's nice to have. We could have got more. But I would like to say, for European competition purposes, that FC Bayern are our rivals. Most definitely. They have beaten us twice in the finals of the pre-season tournaments, and they've knocked us out in the Champions Cup now. So they have officially become our rivals in European competitions. So we've definitely got to keep an eye out for them. What a strong team they are. And in front of me is now players leaving on international duty. It is the most harshest of, one of the most harshest of emails that I do not enjoy reading, simply because there is always a risk of these players injuring themselves during international duty. And if I do have a game, it normally just happens in pre-season, but when I do have a game coming up, some players are still not available to play with. But hopefully that's not going to be the case with Toulouse coming up. We do have another email, and Brazil would like me to manage their national team. As tempting as that is, I am going to reject the offer because I have no interest in playing in the international games. So, Toulouse is just around the corner. We do want to play our first squad. I'm going to have a quick sneak peek at who we should be playing now. I'm going to go back to our normal formation, I think with the 4 up front, because now Benzema is in the fold. That's not a bad formation. I do think I need to change things up a little bit in Season 3. Simply because we've been knocked out in way too many cups. So there is still weakness in the squad that I do need to change. But we'll talk about that more as Season 3 comes. I think Lavezzi should stay in that left wing position. He is fighting strong there. At 31 years of age, 80 overall. So 1 overall away from being dropped from the first squad. Lucas definitely should be my right winger. 82 overall at 24 years of age. He's definitely the future of PSG. It's a shame he couldn't be a striker. I think, though, with his pace. Let's have a look. Where is his acceleration's at 95, sprint speed 91. He is such a pacey player. Joining back in the ranks with Ibrahimovic, is going to be none other than Benzema. It is hard to say. I think I do get confused sometimes, like whether they're both right footers. Benzema being he's the same overall as Ibrahimovic now, but my point really is, when I see a striker and he has a right foot, do I place him on the right hand side or the left hand side? You would think the right, but based on angles and I don't know. Yeah, I think Benzema should be on the right. I would like a left footer here on the left, but that's not going to happen. So we do have our front four, very strong forward. Alonso definitely shouldn't be in midfield. It's got to be Coutinho and Pogba, without a shadow of doubt. Pogba will be on the right and Coutinho on the left. Vertonghen stays in left back and Marquinhos is losing form. So we'll definitely stick him to right back position. We could play Aria or Van der Wiel, but we're not going to. They shouldn't be in the squad. I did want to sell them, but unfortunately we couldn't. No club is interested in them. And then we've got Silva and Naldo in that centre-back positions. But Naglio did not do a good job against FC Bayern. I was very disappointed about that. So we are going to have David De Gea back in goal. Superb goalkeeper for Manchester United. I am really looking forward to doing a Manchester United career mode. So Berbek is going to be our striking substitute. Now with Ongenda injured, we need to decide who the best man is to be on the bench. Hebran can only play on the right, but Berbek can play on the left. So Berbek could be there with Jonas as my striking substitute. So he might get a good couple of games before the season is out. There is no other better candidate than Jonas. So we've got a forward three. Nastan Bowley, he has a match ban, so he can't be our midfielding substitute. So it's going to have to be Schneider, I guess. Schneider, most definitely. I think he would naturally be there, regardless. And Kasarasanaga for the defence. Benaglio is not going to be our substitute goalkeeper. I kind of am annoyed with Benaglio. I literally have given so much money to this guy simply because he's a glitch goalkeeper worth $41 million. I hope it's the same amount when Season 3 comes around. Just before we end Season 2, though, we will sort out all of the players in terms of who's being transfer listed, who's being loaned. We'll go through everything. It will be a lengthy episode. Now that the squad is done, we're going to see if the roles are good, instructions are good, tactics are good. Without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. I hope we can secure 3 points. It is a home game, so we do have the advantage. But Toulouse are not a bad team. And there you go, 2-0. Ibrahimovic scores. He's still got it in him. And Coutinho scores as well. Marquinhos and Lucas get yellow cards each. Benzema and Lavezzi get loaned off for Jonas and Berbek. Yep, so Jonas replaces Benzema and Berbek replaces Lavezzi. So the system understands where I was going with those substitutes. And this is what I was talking about. When you simulate everything, you have to consider what positions those players play. Because you can think, right, this player in real life, he can play in left wing. But the system, FIFA, EA, it may not understand that because it's not, the left wing position is not in their positions in the game. So it may not substitute them off and put them in that position. You know, I've seen it happen so many times. We do have an email. The suspension is over for Stambowli. That's nice to know. Let's hope he doesn't get another red card. So we are going to move on forward. We're coming up to the end of March. So we are leading up to April. France would like me to manage their national squad. No, thank you. And we do have a press conference, so we are going to motivate PSG to victory. We are about to face a rival club of ours, Lyonnais. Was it Lyonnais? And I just got another message from Facebook, so bear with me one moment. Okay, I'm back, guys, I'm back. So, we've got another email from Daniel Agger, and he says, I've been in pretty good form lately, and I'm feeling good, so I hope you're not going to bench me for the next game. Interesting. So he doesn't want to be benched. He is feeling good. I do like Daniel Agger, and I'm glad Luke mentioned him to me. You know, former Liverpool defender. We did get him on a pre-contract, I believe, and fit him into the squad. What I could do is... Naldo and Silva are in form as well. And they're both better defenders than Agger. But Agger, we do not want to upset. But at the same time, I'm not too fussed. I'm not too fussed if Agger gets upset with me because he deserves to be in the first team. He could even make a better replacement or even Naldo's replacement when Naldo leaves. But we need to consider the pre-contracts coming in because once again at Season 3 we've got a lot of pre-contracts coming in. So people are going to come, people are going to go. So, you know, I'm just going to leave Agger there, to be honest. A game like Lyonnais, I need my best players ready. So, I'm sorry, Agger, I'm going to have to let you down. Luke might not agree with me. I do apologise, Luke, in advance if you ever get to see this video. So, let's simulate this match. It is an away game, so we do not have the advantage. Hopefully, we can come out of a win, if not a draw. And there you go, we got beaten. So maybe Agger is going to rub that in my face. That Ben Yedder. What a player. Coutinho scores one for us, and Vertonghen comes off for Agger. So Agger did get to play from the 50th minute. That is most unfortunate. I'm a little bit bummed out about that, but it is what it is. And once again, we are 1 point behind Lille. So it is a struggle now, guys. It is a struggle, and I think we are in our last 2 months of play. And Daniel Agger has come back to us via email saying, "Hey boss, thanks for playing me in that match. I feel I did well." Oh, that's interesting. He didn't want to be benched. But I guess I'm going to have to go back on this video and see whether he wanted to start the game or not. But he still is appreciative. So thanks to my assistant coach in the simulation process for bringing him on during the game. I guess he's happy. So, 5 minutes left for the episode, guys. We do have a spectator. I am going to say hi to them. I'm Millsysaurus. Welcome to FIFA 16 PSG Career Mode. This is Season 2. Episode, I believe, 16? Yeah, Episode 16. It is a spontaneous improvisation career mode. Simply meaning I simulate everything. Everything is by default. And, yeah, I hope you enjoy the show. At the moment, I am on Facebook, so I am going to be a little bit distracted. So if it seems like, I'm taking far too long, completely quiet, you know what I'm doing. So, coming back, we might be able to fit one more game in just before the end of this episode. If we have a quick look at the calendar, we have for this month, we've just lost to Lion Eyes. Got 4 more games. One against Angers, one against Troyes. We got the Coupe de Ligue final against Stade Rennais. And then we face a rival club in Marseille. But we do have next month full of games as well as. So we'll try and fit in one more game before ending this episode. And then shooting off with the next. I'm getting a lot of messages from Facebook, so please excuse me. So we've got an email, and it's from Romain Habran. He said, "Boss, I was wondering if you could take a look at my contract and review my wage. I've been thinking that my current wage does not reflect my contribution to the team." Do you know what? I do like Habran. He wasn't in the second squad at the beginning of the season. I wanted to loan him out again because I think it was because we had Fagauli, which we sold in January. So I replaced Fagauli with Habran. I gave him a chance because I do see a future with Habran. I like Habran. So I'm just going to have a look at the contracts, and we're going to go alphabetical order. And there he is. He's on $15,000 a week. He's got 1 year and 3 months left on his contract. He wants 3 more years. So the maximum that I can give him, 3 more years, I'm happy with that. And he wants $40,000. I'm happy with that as well. So I'm not going to play any games with this guy. I really want to keep him. And I think he's a really good player. And his squad at the moment is future first team player. So we can just boost that up by 1. So do I play the game and say do not specify any squad role? And see if he comes back with, I need to know what my squad role is. Yeah, let's try that. It's only going to cost me $15,000 for signing on fee. I think that's absolutely fine. And then we can wait until we find out what he says. So Angers. Where are they in the league table? So they are 18th. So we really don't need to necessarily play our first squad, but I might do, but yeah, I'm going to play the first squad. We've got a lot of space in between these games, so there will be more than enough rest time, and I need those 3 points now, so the second squad is just going to have to do one for a little while. So the first squad looks great, and we do need those points. So with a home game, we do have the advantage. Absolutely. So let's get crack-a-lacking. Hopefully we can come home with the points. We do not, which is a shock. Silva gets injured, Pogba gets a yellow, and Naldo gets subbed off for Aga. 0-0, guys. We drew and only get the 1 point. This is not looking good in our favour. Not at all. But we are tying with Lille. So I guess it's not too bad. Thiago Silva has suffered a bruised leg, and will be out for about 3 days. So that's not bad at all. That's fine. He'll be able to play the next game. So we're moving on. We'll stop the simulation when we get an email. And Habrana's accepted. We didn't even have to give him a squad role. My theory is if you don't give them a squad role, they can never complain. Though sometimes they do. I do understand that. They can never complain. And, you know, there is more to offer on the table the next time they do complain or want a pay rise. I think you could just free them up a little bit more when they have no squad specified. I think it's less likely that they complain. That's just my theory. But guys, we are going to end the episode there. This is FIFA 16. I'm Millsysaurus. Thank you so much for coming to watch. If you do want to get the scoop on the entire journey so far, meaning Season 1 and a couple of episodes from Season 2, I have still yet to put the rest of Season 2 on the playlist. Just find the link on my YouTube channel, Millsysaurus. The link is in the discussion tab. So you just simply click on there and then you can find all the previous episodes. Thank you very much again, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day and I will see you next time. Peace out.